So I've mentioned Coursera in a handful of my videos as I believe it's one of the best ways to gain new skills and knowledge from some of the top universities in the world at an affordable price as low as free. Having been on Coursera for about the last 5 years and taken around 40 courses, I've experienced it quite a bit, and in this video I'll be doing a comprehensive review of the platform to help you get a better understanding of what value Coursera can bring to you to help you skill up and advance your career. So stay tuned. Hey folks, Richard Wallace here, and if we're meeting for the first time, what this channel is all about is helping you with career development and personal finance. So if those two topics are of any interest to you, I'd highly recommend subscribing to this channel down below and hitting the notification bell so you get notified of when I post new content. So with that said, let's talk about Coursera. So a little bit of backstory. I started using Coursera around 5 years ago just to scope out exactly what it is they had to offer and what kind of partnerships they had with different universities. But there was one topic in particular that I wanted to learn more about. I was in the tech industry, but one area that I just wasn't that familiar with was cybersecurity. After searching a little bit, I came across what Coursera terms as a specialization, which is a series of courses within a subject. And this one in particular was offered by NYU, and I actually did a review on that course, that specialization, which you can check out in the description below. Short of it is, I took these courses and I really enjoyed them. I got a lot of value out of them. So I ended up looking at what else could I learn, and so I ended up taking some coursework in IoT, Internet of Things. After that, I actually used Coursera as part of my online MBA program through the University of Illinois, and they've partnered with Coursera to use Coursera as a platform to deliver their video content and many of their assignments as a complement, or you could say in addition to the main coursework that you do and the live sessions, the lectures that you actually attend online. So the Coursera is a complement to that, and from that I've taken the majority of the courses of the 40 courses that I mentioned. So with that, let me share with you what I think of the platform after 5 years, 40 courses, and I'll cover them in 5 areas. First is variety of content. Second is university and organization partnerships. Third is user interface. Fourth is community, and fifth is career advancement. As far as variety goes, it's about as good as it gets. Coursera has been around since 2012, and in that time, they've developed a lot of partnerships with, like I mentioned earlier, the top universities in the world to offer content, and you can find just about anything you want to learn, from arts and social sciences to business and engineering and everything in between, so it really runs the gamut. Now, originally the platform only offered courses for free, which of course they still do, but they've expanded that a little bit more to offer paid skill certificates, and they've even partnered with universities to offer full-fledged master's degrees. So really you have a lot of options, from free to obviously the cost of a master's degree, and a lot of content to choose from. So what I just said ties into my next point, which is the extent to which Coursera has really dove into partnerships with not just universities, but also organizations, some of the best companies in the world like Google and IBM, to offer some additional content and paid certificates. Keep in mind, the primary goal of Coursera is to make education accessible to just about anyone with a desire to learn and an internet connection. And when it comes to accessibility, of course, there's plenty of free content you can get your hands on. But one of the bigger disruptions that's happening in the education market is that now more than ever, there's more attention being paid to certificates or certifications in lieu of full-fledged degrees. Now, I'm not discounting the importance of a full-fledged degree, as of course Coursera has partnerships with universities to offer a lot of these master's programs for a fairly affordable price. But these certificates can serve as a really great supplement to your knowledge and skill base. And in some cases, depending on the certification and industry, this can be a very viable path to a meaningful career change. Now, I'll talk about career advancement towards the end of this video, but the takeaway here is that Coursera has many partnerships with not just universities, but organizations as well to help deliver new content, new coursework, new certificates to, again, help you skill up. Next is user interface, and this is a little bit more subjective, but to me, it's probably the best user interface of any online learning platform that I've had to use. And everything is relatively easy to navigate and find. The courses themselves are fairly straightforward and easy to navigate, as we have options to the left to move about the course content. And the videos themselves have plenty of options. For example, they have closed caption. You can also increase the video speed if you're in a time crunch. And they also have written transcripts, which is very useful if you're trying to find certain keywords. Fourth area is community. And when I say community, it really refers to your ability to interact or collaborate with other students taking a certain course. So this could be in the form of feedback that you provide to them and they back to you on certain assignments, or also Q&A and forum discussions. So this is going to vary quite a bit depending on how popular a course is and depending on the course itself and whether it lends itself to a lot of discussion. In many courses, you'll find that the assignments are either multiple choice, which of course once you complete it, it's automatically graded, you don't have to wait. But then you'll also find open-ended questions, which usually requires some kind of written response, or you upload some documentation of some sort. And the way that that's graded is that you submit your assignment and you in turn then grade 3 other assignments, or the number can vary, but let's say 3 or 4 assignments from other people that have also submitted their assignment. You get a grading rubric, so that's what you work off of, and in return, whatever you submitted is graded by other folks, so you get some of that feedback as well. Generally speaking, this kind of engagement, although the idea is nice that you have this kind of feedback loop with peers in the course, it's typically not all that helpful, because in many cases you'll find that other students may be in a hurry to just simply grade their assignment so they in turn can get their grade. And so they'll just write there's not going to be a whole lot of commentary there in many cases. There's not going to be much of anything of substance. And this again may depend on the course, but in my experience, this has never really been that helpful to me. Now, apart from the assignments, every class has a discussion forum. And I'll reiterate again that it really depends on the subject matter and also the popularity of the course that determines how much engagement there actually is in the discussion forum. So for example, one of the most popular courses on Coursera is by Andrew Ng, and it's on machine learning. And Andrew is actually one of the co-founders of Coursera, and this is one of the oldest courses on there. And as a result of its popularity, there's plenty of discussion. You'll have tens of thousands of threads and a lot of discussion going on about the class, the content, and a lot of Q&A back and forth. So it's a very vibrant community in that course. And then with other courses, many other courses, you'll have literally no discussion. So again, to the extent that any kind of community engagement or collaboration can happen will ultimately depend on the course. Last area is career advancement, which is presumably why you're here in the first place, to learn more about Coursera and how it can help you. Simply put, Coursera can absolutely help, and I'll actually share with you a story here in a moment, but the way that it helps is through their paid certificates or degrees. So the baseline here for Coursera, as you now know, is that they offer courses for free and you can complete them, but you don't have any proof that you actually completed them unless you pay for the certificate, which just means that when you complete the course content, Coursera actually verifies it. They verify your identity, they verify that you completed the course, and when you complete it, you have verifiable backing to actually include this course and the certificate on LinkedIn or on your resume. Now, these certificates and specializations aren't necessarily replacements for full-fledged degrees, which you can find on Coursera, but they offer a really good way to supplement your skill and knowledge base, and enough so that you can use these depending on how well you market yourself. You can use these to help pivot your career or advance your career. So to give you a personal anecdote of mine and how certificates helped me in my career, I'll go back to the time that I took some of the IoT, the Internet of Things courses. And at that point in time, I elected to pay for the certificate of completion to verify that I did it. And at that point in time, I didn't have necessarily a vision for what that might turn into. Because it was relatively inexpensive, I went ahead and paid for the certificate just so I would have it. Well, as luck would have it, sometime after that, it might have been many months later, maybe later in the year, an opportunity opened up in the organization to be a product manager for our IoT platforms. And while I had great experience as a product manager, I didn't have any experience with IoT. However, having taken these IoT courses and having a verified certificate that I actually completed this, it gave me a little bit of an advantage. It showed the manager that I had a legitimate interest in this field, and I took concrete steps to educate myself further on the topics. And this turned into an advantage that I wouldn't otherwise have had. So the opportunity for career advancement is certainly there, even with just these certificates, not to mention the degrees that you can also pursue, which are far more clear paths to career advancement. So folks, check out Coursera down in the link below. Go find a course or a subject that you're interested in, take some classes for free, and when you get to a point where you're a little bit more serious and want to take more concrete steps, that's when you should explore some of the paid certificate options on courses or specializations. And of course, if you have maybe a little bit more time and more financial backing, certainly explore some of the degrees that they have. I will say that the degrees that they offer there in partnership with many universities are typically a fraction of the cost of many other master's degrees. So again, you're getting a really good value no matter which way you go. There's no better time to skill up than now, and I hope this video gave you a little bit of motivation to check out this fantastic platform to help you advance your career. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.